Hey guys, how you all doing, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. In today's video I'm going to be going through how you can get a high amount of kills in Season 5 on Fortnite. So if you do enjoy any part of this video or learn something new, be sure to leave a like. Without further ado, let's get right into this. So my first tip for getting more kills in Season 5 in Fortnite is to get good positioning. Now this means to get a high ground on other players, or it could mean getting a good line of sight on the player that doesn't know you're there. Now this will just come with playing a lot of Fortnite games, but you can watch a lot of pro players such as Nick Merckx, who's exceptionally good at getting a good position, especially getting high ground on oppositions. You can get high ground by doing ramp rushes or double ramps, and this will mean that you can shoot down your enemies, and it's a lot easier to heal up as well if you just duck down behind a ramp. And then you could also do the ghost peek where you crouch up, where you stand up and shoot and then crouch back down. So it comes with a lot of benefits, and I definitely recommend trying to get really good at positioning if you do want to get a high amount of kills. So my second tip would be to learn what's your favourite combination. Now since double pump and pump tack has been taken out of the game because of the delay system, you now need to do either pump SMG or pump drum gun. Those are the two most used combinations at the moment. So definitely stick away from doing two shotguns, because that will just get you killed more times than not. And while we're on the topic of guns, let's also talk about the new explosive buffs. So all explosives have been buffed dramatically in the new Season 5 update. So I'll definitely recommend trying to keep a slot in your inventory for a rocket launcher, a grenade launcher, or C4, which are the main ones. Because they do a lot more damage now, and it's a lot easier to take down people's bases or break down the bottom of their ramps if they're trying to go above you, or if you just want to take them down. So maybe instead of having two types of healing at the end, I would recommend having mini shields and then an explosive on your 5th slot or your 4th slot, whichever way you want to keep them, so you'll be set for any type of situation. So my final tip is to get really good at awareness. Now this means that you can know where people are at all times, and you know where they're going to be coming from and which angle most likely players are going to be rushing you from or shooting you at. Now if you have a headset, this will definitely help you, because you'll be able to hear where the shots are coming from or where the footsteps are. Especially if you get into a build battle or you're in a building, you'll be able to locate exactly where the footsteps are coming from, or if somebody were to shoot, you'd know exactly where they were. Now when is especially important in the end game, because that's when there's going to be a lot of people quite near to each other, and you've got to know exactly when you can shoot and when you can't. And so if there's a person on your left and you do start shooting them, but then you didn't realise that there's a person on your right and he snipes you, then that's not going to end very well for you. So I definitely recommend just keeping an eye out. Make sure you have your headset and your volume on max, and getting to know the map as well is very important, and where the points of interest are. So I'll leave a link down below to a Fortnite map of where the most popular locations are, so you'll know that if you're in the zone and it's around Salty Springs and Tilted Towers, you'll know that those two key areas are going to be where you want to focus and keep an eye on. Whereas places like Loot Lake are going to be less popular, and so you still need to keep an eye on them, but just not as close an eye. So my final tip is kind of a vague one, quite general, but you need to know exactly what sensitivity to play on. So you're going to have, I recommend something above 7. Anywhere below that, and you won't be able to turn around quickly enough if somebody is shooting you in the back. But if it's too high, then you won't be able to aim at your targets easily enough. So I'd recommend somewhere between 7 to 9. But it's all about just working your way up to a high enough sensitivity, and then once you, if you go up high enough and then start realizing that you start missing your shots, then go back down until you find your perfect sensitivity. So guys, if these tips did help you, then be sure to leave a comment telling me which one helped you, and if you did enjoy the video, then be sure to leave a like. That's all from me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.